We'll call the meeting to order. Looks like we have all 5 commissioners in attendance. Mr. Cook, you want to offer the invocation?
Let us pray. Lord Jesus, we come before you today, understanding we have need of you, and we just acknowledge that, and we love you, and we praise you, and we exalt you. Ask you to help us to have understanding and compassion and kindness for one another today. Help us to find your perfect will for every item that's going to come on this agenda, that we follow your path and do what's best for the community as a whole, and we'll be careful to give you all the praise and all the glory. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
That couldn't have sounded nicer on the heels of the 4th of July. We have some guests from the response team for the Villatassa tornado. Who's here for that? Jeff, you want to lead this?
I will go ahead and kick it off, and then we'll bring them on up here. All right, so as we all know, back in May 25th, we had an EF1 tornado that affected Villatassa. With winds of 105 miles an hour, we had 19 properties impacted with construction demolition debris, a lot of vegetative debris, a lot of road issues. We had pulled out, or Public Works did, 123 truckloads of debris. We're still collecting some debris, which equated to about 350 tons. Now, we definitely could not have done it without our partners, so we wanted to recognize that. I also want to thank Commissioner Curry for being out there and meeting with the public and helping garner some support from them as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring them up and give them a little plaque that basically says, in grateful appreciation, the Walton County Board of County Commissioners and Emergency Management Department recognizes, in this case, Stronghold Solutions for your dedication and contributions to the impacted residents following the Villatassa tornado. Your service has made a lasting impact on our community. Now, Stronghold is one that we actually have an MOU renewal in. They actually put up Team Rubicon because Team Rubicon came in from out of town to do some of the debris cleanup on the private properties. So Stronghold came in and they went ahead and put them up and billeted them at their location on 331. Stronghold? Right here? There we go. Thanks a lot. Definitely appreciate the partnership.
Thank you, sir.
And the next, I'm not going to read the plaque because they all say the same except for the names. Florida Baptist Association. They also came in and they help with a lot of the private property debris removal as well, because the nonprofits can go in, but the counties cannot. Thank you, sir. We definitely appreciate you. And Team Rubicon. Tanya, you here yet? Okay, Tanya Holloway is their operations manager, and she was actually running a little bit late. American Red Cross. And Walton County Public Works. I guess they have to run in from the back. Kodiak Tree Service. They're actually a for-profit tree service business that came in to use their own time, their own equipment to help clean up a lot of the debris as well. And then the Matrix. Andy. I'll bring the plaque to Public Works in the back. That's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
I just have one thing, Chair.
Sure.
You guys did a great job, staff. You know, your department, Jeff, is outstanding. I don't, words can't even describe it. I went out there, when it hit, your staff was already on site. I believe she passed me doing about, I won't say the speed, but she passed.
Please don't.
Yeah. But she passed me getting there. And every day, Public Works, the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department out there, I mean, every person that I talked to out there wanted me to make sure that I thanked the Walton County staff. So I just want to say thank you again, Jeff.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate the support that the board and county administration gives our department to allow us to do what we do. Right? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Jeff.
Thank you to the community for all their help.
Yes.
All right, we have one more recognition. It's item 52, but we'll go ahead and move that to the front. Matt, would you like to make this presentation?
Awesome. Thank you, Chairman. Matt Algren for the record. Just want to take a few moments just to recognize some outstanding folks from the community. So today we're here to recognize both Evie Mae's Barbecue and Day Trader Tiki Bar and Restaurant, as well as Rue 30A, for being named as recommended restaurants in the 2026 Michelin Guide. So with us today, we have Chef Arnis and Mallory Robbins from Evie Mae's. Stand up. In addition, we have Chef Nikhil Abuvala from Rue 30A and Tiki Day Trader. So these outstanding restaurants exemplify the creativity, quality, hospitality, and culinary excellence that continue to elevate Walton County's dining scene. From Rue 30A's innovative seasonal tasting menus to Day Trader's vibrant island-inspired cuisine and Evie Mae's authentic Texas-style barbecue, each has created a unique dining experience that attracts visitors and delights locals alike. Their recognition by the Michelin Guide is a testament not only to their individual achievements, but also to the growing reputation of our destination as one of Florida's premier culinary communities. Please join us in congratulating the exceptional businesses on this remarkable honor. If we could get a picture, we'd appreciate it.
All right, do we have any additions or deletions? None? Public comment. If you're not going to be here for the entire meeting, if you go ahead, you want to go ahead and speak your piece now? Anyone here? All right, seeing none. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
All right, I'll show that done without objection. Is there a motion to approve the entire agenda?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Showed it pass 5-0.
Are you gonna do the consent? Oh, I wanted to pull one off. I thought you said the entire agenda.
You said consent first.
Do you need to,
I wanted to pull 19 off for discussion.
what's the desire of the board? How do we unwind this?
Since you called it done without objection, he's asking that. I think it's perfectly appropriate that it just be placed under the regular agenda wherever the county administrator feels most appropriate, and then show the rest approved.
Is that, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
The remainder of the board consent?
Yes.
Okay. Seeing no objection, you're covered.
All right, tab 37, citizen requests, Ms. Tabitha Howard.
Yes, Tabitha Howard. You know, I'm quite unsure of even what I was going to be saying today. For more than 5 years, I've done exactly what every citizen is supposed to do. I attended meetings, I submitted documentation, I followed your process. I asked questions respectfully. The board made promises. The board set deadlines. The board failed to deliver. Let's review the facts. On December the 23rd, 2021, Commissioner Mike Barker requested an independent investigation into the Driftwood Estates and Sandestin DRI issues. On March the 9th, 2021, the board voted to obtain an independent engineering report and required that it be completed within 60 days, not 60 months, 60 days. 5 years later, where is that report? On April the 23rd, 2024, I returned seeking answers. Instead of discussing the report, the issue was tabled. On April the 14th and on January the 14th and January the 28th, 2025, I was again assured the matter would move forward and that I would have the answers within the next meeting or two. I'm still waiting. Government cannot demand accountability from its citizens while refusing to hold itself accountable. The consequences of these failures have not been theoretical. They have been personal, damaging to me and my family because I refused to stop asking questions and because I insisted that the state and local laws be enforced equally. I have been banned from approximately 173 properties within my own community. I pay my amenities and I cannot use. My photograph has been posted at facilities so employees know not to admit me. No citizen should ever be punished for asking their government to do its job. The county staff in code enforcement, I have two county staff in code enforcement, I have one message. The treatment that I have endured ends today. The county's actions, such as code enforcement leadership, have contributed to exposing me because I exercise my rights as a citizen. Then those actions deserve immediate review. Why was Tony Corman allowed to go behind and point me out and have me harassed and intimidated by not only compliance but Sandestin Investments? I should have been given whistleblower protection. You know, I do. I thank God for Alan's depositions and stuff because it just keeps getting worse. I mentioned something about some things that were going on with Sandestin again, and legal action was done against me. So now I'm banned from even going to the SOA meetings for another year. But then also, on April the 30th, my husband actually, he wanted to Zoom the SOA meeting because we knew it was very important, and I wasn't allowed to go to that meeting. So my husband asked to Zoom, but actually that was denied. My husband he just wanted to sit and listen, but Tom Cooper denied it that day. I don't know why. He's not Tabitha Howard, and it clearly says Daniel Howard. You were denied. I'd like to go ahead, since I got a couple minutes, from the board meeting that I was denied. Mr. Beckmill stated that his three main goals for development included the North Commercial Development, which he stated is related to the Raven subdivision, and clubhouse improvements. Cascade condos on Lot 121C, nothing that is currently, noting that it is currently being reviewed by the state for reapproval and is planned for this summer. And the completion and the completed revitalization of the marina, including a redevelopment of the site of more slips towards a boat-driven community. There's just too much, and my time's going up. But also there was some things about Mr. Beckmill confirmed that in 2017, it was not foreseen that the driving range would be proposed for this build, but there is still enough density and remaining green space to meet the requirements. But that's what's being said at the meetings. And as I said, this right here I just got posted because now I'm posted in the Beach House restaurant because Matt Fishard, my friend, he lost his lease, so now SDI has that. So now I go into a
Ms.
store
Howard,
and
Ms. Howard, your
You know what?
5 minutes are out.
You know what? I have been harassed in my community. I've had
Ms.
so many
Howard,
things
I
happen to me.
understand that.
And you've done your job a long time ago. You told me in January of 2025 that in a week or two that I would have this stuff, and I still don't have Alan Osborne, March the 9th, what? You're responsible. You're responsible for the stuff that happens to me.
All right, tab 38, Mr. Kellenberger.
Yes, sir. Chairman, Greg Waller with Wildstar Networks. Would like to give an update on our broadband initiative and also request an amendment to the contract. Mr. Waller, you want to come on up?
Hi, thank you for having me here, and appreciate your time. As you know, WildStar signed a contract maybe 5 years ago to build out much of Walton County, starting from the most rural areas in the north down to the south. We have completed almost all of that, except down in the furthest south area, down around here. There is, the purpose was to bring connectivity to the rural communities, and we have connected about 2,000 homes. What we're asking for is a small modification to the contract to move funding from the more dense area down here in the south to upper three sections of the community.
I'd make a motion to approve that because that's where it's needed.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Questions?
I have something,
Go
Chair.
ahead.
I know we spoke on Zoom and all that stuff, and I appreciate your explanation. But I'm okay with this, but I just wanted to kind of put some attention to a process. If we're diverting connectivity or towers or whatever you want to call it to the north end, then I'm assuming that the north end was not complete. But we went ahead and paid out those 2 or 3 phases as if they were complete. So that, my problem isn't with your service. My problem isn't with, the connectivity and helping the north. I have no problem with that. My problem is our process of approving something that apparently wasn't complete, but since we've signed off on it, we can't go backwards in time. I understand that. But words matter in contracts, and I brought this up, I don't know, a couple months ago, where, we talked about doing testing at physical addresses, but it turned out to be, longitude and latitude locations, so on and so forth. So I just want to make sure maybe in the future we use a little bit I guess, better verbiage in our contracts, and then, and if that's not the problem, then we stick to the contract at hand and make sure before we write a check or before we give payment that those phases are complete. Like I said, I'm not against this. I'll be voting for it, but our process, I think, needed to be tweaked and looked at. That's my only point.
Mr. Chairman. I understand that there's not a lot of connectivity in the north end, and I want that. But we have a contract.
Yeah.
And because we have internet down here, doesn't mean it's great internet, doesn't mean it's cheap internet. And, you know, it's to Mr. Curry's point, we had a contract. And, we've lived by our end. You and I talked about this, and I told you that I was not happy with this. I was not happy with this. And,
Look, before we go any further, we're not gonna have any outbursts from the audience, and if you do, you forfeit your right to be here. So with that admonishment in place, just recognize that there are consequences if there is another public outburst, giving you forewarning that this gentleman right here that works for the Walton County Sheriff's Department will remove you. So let's have a nice, decent, public meeting, and Commissioner Anderson, you're recognized.
And I just think that, we upheld our end of the contract. And, like I say, I know the north end needs internet. But I think the south end needs better internet too, and cheaper internet. You know, you're providing a service for around $50 a month, I think. Cheapest I've found it down here is about 80. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still, we're in the contract that I think we should have a build-out down here too. That's all I'm saying.
Commissioner Anderson, I thought I was going to be in the boat by myself. That's why I spoke the way I did. So I appreciate your feelings on that, because that was my feelings when I first brought this up a few months ago. Words matter in a contract. I mean, a contract is a contract. So thank you for sharing that.
May I?
Yes.
I agree that words matter in a contract, but this particular contract, it's my understanding that when you got in certain places in the north end, and I know there are a lot of people on the north end that have it, and they're thrilled to have it, and there's still a lot of people that don't. And there've been a lot of problems with the density of the land and everything up there, which creates some of the issues. And I believe that, you know, I personally don't have a problem with internet service down here. And I would just like to see more people in the north end have the internet service. So I personally just don't have a problem with the change in the contract.
Yeah, I think it's in our best interest. I mean, we're wanting to provide the greatest level of connectivity. So yes, we enter into this arrangement. However, the company is advising us we can do more if you will allow us some flexibility. So I don't see it any different than an amendment to a contract or a change order. So I think it just makes the most sense for the greater saturation, the most customers served if we permit this. Is there any additional questions, any public comment? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, show it passes 4-1 with Commissioner
I had
Anderson.
a nay.
3-2.
All right, 3-2.
Thank you.
All right, 39.
Mr. Wiley, during the break, could you meet with me?
Happy to.
Thank you.
All right, tab 39.
Mike Thornton, Deputy County Administrator. This is an update on the Mossy Head Modular Health Clinic. Basically, we sent out the bids, and the actual bids came back $501,000 higher than the estimate. We're here to update, or I'm here to update the commission concerning that, and also to let you know that I've reached out to Congressman Petronis's office to see if potentially the grant from the federal government could be increased or moved around to allow us to do a brick and mortar building. I have yet to hear back from them on that, so that
What kind
was-
of time do we have?
This has to be actually ordered or in process before December,
Okay.
so.
All right.
I can put it in a hold status.
How much is the modular building?
The modular building came in at $946,553.
I think that's a little high for a mobile home, for a health clinic. I think if we're looking at this long-term, we need to put together something, a brick-and-mortar facility that will provide the amenities that would best serve the community for the long term. It's not gonna be a short-term fix. I just don't wanna spend $1 million on a portable.
I agree.
Do we have any kind of prices on that?
So do we take a motion to hit the pause button, or what?
I mean, at this point in time, if you're not awarding moving forward or directing moving forward, it is paused, so there's no need to take that action. If staff has some specific request for direction you want the board to give, now would be the time to ask them to give you that advice, but you don't have to formally keep them from moving forward when you're not approving them.
I would continue working with our federal delegation members to see if there's some flexibility in the grant.
Okay? Yes, sir.
Do we have any kind of estimate on a brick and mortar?
No, sir, but we can put staff on getting an estimate together.
I feel more comfortable if we had some kind of number. I'm not gonna hold you to it, but if we had some kind of ballpark number.
Do you,
Every week it changes, so.
We can put together some, historical cost estimates, or if you would like, I can reach out through a formal task order request to a continuing services engineer and get a firm estimate, whichever the board would like to do.
I'd like to see an estimate, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we need to get a
It'll be a cost proposal to do, this building, how big? 3,100 square feet?
3,100 square feet.
So we can, we'll meet with Holly Holt to confirm that that is the square footage that is appropriate, and then we will issue a task order for a cost proposal and bring it back to you.
So 3,100 square foot for almost $1 million, I'm in the wrong business.
So what
All
we
right, so
thought
you
to,
have, you're good with direction?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tab 40?
yes, sir, that's mine as well. I need permission to enter into a grant agreement, or actually apply for a grant agreement.
So this is an application for a grant. Is there a
Yes.
motion to approve?
motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Gladwell. Is anyone in the public would like to speak? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Show it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Tab 41.
Yes, sir. Chairman, this is update and request for direction on the building department at the South Walton Annex. Previously, Commissioner Johns had asked us to look at this. We put together some cost, forecast. It's included in your package here. Unfortunately, I was notified this week, or last week, that the state legislature has passed legislation that would prohibit using surplus building department funds for actual brick and mortar facilities. So at this point, I would ask us to table this or just discontinue it.
Unfortunately, yes.
Motion to discontinue is what we need.
Second.
Is there any discussion, questions, public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show passes 5-0. Tab 42.
All right, this is update and request for direction regarding beach disability driving permits. Over the years, there's been an increase in disability driving permits. Included in your package is data over the last 5 years of all of the beach driving permits. And so our request is today to have a discussion and either direction or a motion on how the board would like for us to proceed on how we administrate the beach driving permits.
Can we put something together that adapts identically to what the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles uses when they issue a handicap placard?
So the majority of the disability driving permits are associated with a state-issued handicap placard. So by doing that, we're really not reducing or helping to minimize the number of.
So that number, is that large?
It is.
All of these applicants?
Like I say,
We
90%
mirrored
of
that.
the
We mirrored that several years ago, and that's, I think, something that admins identified was an expansive nature of that program.
So the program's history is 2010, the state asked us to reduce driving on the beach. We did it through grandfathering permits. The idea is through attrition, the permits would decrease. A year later, Through public request, the county instituted a lottery process for 150 additional permits to be issued annually on that lottery basis. We've done that at the same time. People have taken advantage of the handicap driving permits. When I say taken advantage, they've used the proper means and methods to obtain those. But what's happened is we've not reduced the number of permits for the beach. The number of cars continues to increase. If you look at the information listed, 2022-23, we had 446. This most recent year, 854. So we've doubled the number of disability permits in 4 years.
Mr. Chairman? Has any thought been given to changing the method by which we do this? Instead of doing these permits, why couldn't we go to a system where you pay for a day pass, have a, you know, like we do at our parking garages, have our parking parks, have a, you know, an arm that goes up and down. You pay, you get to stay for the day, and we limit it to a certain number. Could we do that?
So there, you know, are several different ways we could regulate driving on the beach. They all have their, you know, complications or likes and dislikes by the different groups of people. And so I'm reluctant to offer a recommendation. I can certainly research some different ways and bring it back to you as a package for y'all to decide.
I'd like for that to be one of them, because I think we were told, what, 15 years ago, we needed to need to reduce the number of people driving. Instead, we've increased. And at some point, the state's gonna tell us to shut it down if we don't get serious about doing something.
Yep.
So I would like for you to check into a pass system.
Chair.
Safe,
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just a safe number of vehicles allowed on the beach at any given time, because it just seems like it's, I mean, we've almost doubled in just the last few years. So,
I'm not sure if everybody got a photo of Mr. Burton that I think I shared with you, with the number of vehicles after a child was run over. I think, I'm going to piggyback on Commissioner Glidewell. I mean, I think this really needs to be looked at. I looked at that photo and I'm like, I don't know. It just surprises me there's only one child that got run over by looking at that picture. It's insane. So, and I know recently we passed something for construction people to be on there, or additional permits for that. So I think we are our own worst enemy when it comes to this. Nobody doubled this but us. We allowed this to happen, so we need to fix it. So that's my 2 cents.
Mr. Chairman? Ron, I would suggest that you talk to the state people in charge of disability.
Yes, sir.
And make sure we follow their guidelines,
Yes, sir.
because as Commissioner Glidewell and I know, and I think it was right before you got on, Commissioner Johns, you may have been on, when there's a lawyer, at least one, in Miami, that makes his living on counties and municipalities. We had already agreed to put our, we have already been sued by them, and we had already, we're in the process of fixing the problem. And all he's wanting to do was settle.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to have 854 lawsuits.
Yes, sir.
So let's make sure whatever we do it by state guidelines.
Yes, sir. I'll bring, you know, what regulatory agencies have regulation over it, and I'll also bring back some other mechanisms of how we could limit the, or how we can issue beach passes, and then how we can limit beach passes on, or beach driving on the beach. And then that'll give you all the complete information you'll need to make the best decision for all concerned.
Clay, is the conundrum because it's public property, or Because like, I mean, Walmart has, let's say, 8 parking spaces. They don't have, 80. So they're, I guess, private property rights generally govern, whether or not, how they,
Well, you're looking at Title II and Title III of the ADA. Generally, you have to make reasonable accommodations for the public. The issue the county has run into is how do we define who is eligible for a disability permit or placard? That's why we went to the method you described earlier when we looked at this several years ago. Rather than trying to write our own definition and perhaps being discriminatory in nature, we track the handicap placard, so to speak, or the disability placard that the state of Florida
but
issues.
that has ballooned the.
That has ballooned. I think there are a number of things we can look to. One of the things we looked at back then, and we'll go through this and bring these back, but one thing that we discussed back then that we might want to look back at now is for non-residents to have to make limited pass, like we talk about day pass options, things like that, to bring that in for a specified period of time and creating a time period for somebody to come in and process those. Now, the simple reality is it's not feasible for county admin to try to process these on 12 hours notice and to get the information. And so we need to be consistent with that. The other side of it is that we may have to look at doing availability of time slots or asking people to apply. We know we have a lot of seasonal residents that don't live here full-time. That may be the other way to do it. Code is a constant battle with keeping these passes from being swapped around car to car and things like that. So that's another aspect that we're gonna look at. But let us bring you some solutions back. But the real conundrum, yes, because Title II and Title III of the ADA broadly say that if we're gonna have public spaces that are open to the public, we have to make accommodations for them. Now, while we might be able to limit it, that's fine, but we still have to define what that looks like. And if we go with the state's existing disability placard, it is a wide open number.
All right, this is a long discussion that's gonna require a lot of work. Let's just,
I've got the direction.
We'll come around and talk to y'all about
okay.
it.
All right, tab 43.
This is a request to approve the schedule and advertise a BCC public workshop for
Is there a
commissioners.
motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, so we got a motion by Commissioner Gladwell, second by Commissioner Johns. Any public comment? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Show passes 5-0. Tab 44.
Request to approval to reschedule our July board meetings. Previously, we'd scheduled them for the 7th and the 21st. We'd like to move them to the 14th and the 28th.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Johns, second by Commissioner Gladwell. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Thanks,
So
sir.
it passes 5-0. Tab 45.
Okay, good afternoon, Jeff Goldberg for the record. So Walter Bowers was supposed to be here as well. He had a family emergency that came up, but we met on this yesterday, and I've got some briefing notes. He said if there's any questions that you have after this, he could definitely make some time to speak with you all. So we had that Joy Lane wildfire. So the burner was issued burn permits in accordance with state statute. They were issued, they did not use 40 piles, but they were issued for 40 piles. They only burned 7 at a time, and they were feeding from existing piles. The fire was contained to the property that was being cleared, so it wasn't anything that went outside the parameters of the property. Although because of the wind shift, which was a late wind shift, it was something that was not expected meteorologically. That's why the fire switched lanes, or excuse me, switched directions. The vendor was given 1 notice of violation. If they receive 3 notice of violations in 12 months, they lose their statewide burn authorization. So they did make some findings. I don't have those findings with me, and I can get those to you separately as well. But they did receive a notice of violation, and they were put on notice that if they get 2 more this year within the 12 months, that they're going to go ahead and lose their burn permit. One interesting statistic that he did mention to me is there's only 1% of all wildfires start out of a prescribed burn. So the chances of a wildfire from a prescribed burn, because of all the precautions that get taken, is very, very limited. So, and that is prescribed burns that are permitted and oversawn by the Forest Service. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. I can get the notice of violation information as to exactly what it was and get that to you all as well. I just don't happen to have that now because he's unreachable today.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. Tab 46. Authorize a change order on Bay Loop for $21,494. Are there any questions on this?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gladwell,
Second.
second by Commissioner Johns. Anyone in the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0. Thank you, Chance.
That's good news, thank you.
Got another one, don't you?
47, change order 14-9 from the Sheriff's Department. Are there any questions on the change
Motion to
order?
approve.
Moved by Commissioner Gladwell,
Second.
second by Commissioner Johns. Anyone in the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So it passes 5-0.
You owe me Chance.
Environmental 48.
Excuse me, can I ask, where were we gonna put number 19?
I failed to notify the chairman we need to
All
handle
right,
it
we'll
under
do
my
it as
tab.
soon as, we're gonna have it on.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Melinda Gates, Walton County Environmental. Today, I'm asking to form an Morrison Springs Advisory Group. This is a one-time committee that we produce for revising the management plan for Morrison Springs. We have noticed that over the past several years, we've had a lot of user conflicts between the non-motorized, motorized vessels, and the swimmers. So we need to look at some resolutions for that. But to step through that process, we also have to change the management plan. So to do that, per Florida statute, we have to form this group and host a public meeting. So that's what I'm asking for today.
Motion
I have
to
already
approve.
contacted
Second.
everybody.
Okay, you can handle the particulars. All you need is authorization.
Yes,
So we have a
sir.
motion by Commissioner Johns, seconded by Commissioner
Gladwell.
Gladwell. Any discussion, questions from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Good luck and thank you.
Tab 49, amended planning fee resolution for short-term vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I think
need some
you're gonna do
explanation
Do
on this.
19.
Go ahead.
Are we doing this under your tab? 19?
We've already went through his.
If we're doing
Initially.
19, then on my tab, or if we're doing 49, Stephen's going to do it. Which one you wanna do?
What's your preference?
Let's do 19.
Okay.
Stephen.
So the request to approve and authorize the chairman to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Walton County Fair Association regarding utilization of Fair Association property and facilities during emergencies and disasters. This is a MOU for the Emergency Management Department and departments that need it under emergency services to have use of that facility. It does have some provisions in it for minor repairs, for damages that we create, or if there needs to be something done to make it more suitable for the use.
And here, me and Mr. Goldberg had a long conversation because he was unaware of all these invoices for non-emergency that are technically under this MOU because we did some of these things prior to 2021 that we had no MOU. So I don't know, I've asked several times who's authorized these, I guess, at-will maintenance service programs that we've had over there. We've mowed the lawn over there for 23-plus years at no cost. We've had trash service over there for I don't know how many years. I just don't want this MOU being an at-will maintenance service program. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mr. Jeff. How many times have we used that facility for emergency purposes in the last couple of years?
We've used it quite extensively during COVID for testing and vaccinations.
Well, let me add to that. COVID money paid for that
Correct.
$40,000. Even though we had a service agreement in
Right.
place, since the federal government had an open checkbook out,
Correct.
for some reason, somebody said, well, hey, let's go get some of that COVID money.
Well, normally it would have been paid for under FEMA public assistance reimbursement, but the decision was made to use the CARES Act or ARPA funding, I'm not exactly sure what it was, to actually pay for a lot of the stuff that we could do for reimbursement. But under this MOU, we used them for the vaccinations and testing during COVID. We also used it for Hurricane Sally. We used it for a staging area base camp for Gulf Power and the National Guard. Gulf Kyra has an MOU, but we lent it out to the National Guard. We worked with the Fair Authority on that, and they used that for a few days. We've used it for some exercises and things like that, but that's very short term. So for long term, it was just COVID as well as the Hurricane Sally base camp use.
And if I remember correctly, because I looked over the MOU tons of times, I don't see anything in there in particular where it states the definition of the term of an emergency.
Right.
So I guess I'm still finding it hard to understand that if we had a service agreement in place, again, we go back to contracts matter, agreements matter. There's nothing in there that says over 2 days that we pay, over 3 days that we pay, but we took it upon ourselves to ask for $40,000. Somebody asked for it, and somebody authorized it. So I'm still waiting for that answer. I'm also waiting for the answer of who's authorized, because they're all assuming this is under this MOU. So my point of taking this off is I think we need to be a little bit more specific. Instead of generalities, we need to say, we only pay for X. We don't pay for changing out toilets. We don't change out for putting a door in where a window is to make it logistically friendly for ticket people to move amongst the fairgrounds. We don't provide lawn mowing service for the last 23 years. You know, that's just estimated. That's 4,400 man-hours that we used on that.
And
We have,
under-
wait a minute, we have
Sorry.
1,145 non-emergency facility maintenance hours into this. We have, and I'm not even going to get into the extra parking that I don't know how we got involved in that. We don't own the land. We don't have nothing to do with the land, but it was made for the fair overflow parking. So we spent $117,000 for that parking lot, and we still maintain a list of maintenance options on that facility. I have invoices in here that I'm waiting for Melissa to send me back that say fair has to pay us back, but I haven't seen any of them yet. I have invoices in here where we went and we're Uber for parts and materials. Are the man hours included in that? Is maintenance, is fuel included in that? I just don't like this particular MOU from its history. That it looks like it was a little lopsided in favor of the fair. I think a more evened out option should be presented. I don't like this the way it is. I think it needs to be a little bit more spelled out specifically on the who, what, when, where, and how.
Mr. Kelleher?
Karen, Commissioner Curry, appreciate your comments. A couple of months ago, y'all asked us to get our arms around these MOUs. As other MOUs came up, they had what could be considered some irregularities. But we're doing that. What I thought was going to be a fairly simple task turned out to be much harder, because at some point, the administration department gave up cataloging this. We relied on the clerk of court. Clerk of court does a fine job keeping official records, which is what these are. They just don't catalog them in such a way that we can go find them quickly. Some of the inconsistencies were different names. So Defuniak Springs, it could be DFS, City of Defuniak Springs, just Defuniak. And so we're getting very close to that. But when we get done, we're going to come back to you with a recommendation that MOUs have a few consistent items. The first one is that they have definitive dates, start and end. There will be no renewals, so when it comes up that it's expired, we'll get a new contract or a new MOU done.
Well, that's what this one is. It has expired since April, so we're
Correct.
signing for something to make it retroactive back from April. And not to mention that at least 2 board members from the fair have not even seen this MOU or know anything about it.
Right, so we're going to start anew. The second component is that there will be a mutual benefit, and it will be described. What is the mutual benefit? The second, or the third one is a complete list of what is included in this memorandum of understanding. What are the specific performance of both parties? The last one is that the department that benefits or uses the MOU will be in charge of administrating it. And part of that is to make sure that the administration department master list is kept up to date. With all those components in place, we will have the MOUs in line. Everybody will have understanding, both parties, of what is the MOU for, what is the specific performance under each MOU. And then the Board of County Commission will have that master list. When they come up, you'll have all the information you'll need to have to make decisions on if you want to approve or not approve that MOU.
Commissioner Curry, are you okay with fixing it all at once?
Well, I mean, then this one won't be included unless we're gonna come back and fix this at a later point.
bring this back with it. We're gonna try to standardize all of these to go.
So we're gonna approve this, and then after we do what Brian just said, then we're gonna try
So-
and fix
so
it?
the- So the MOU.
Why won't we
that you're
fix it
talking
now?
about's expired, we had approved,
Right.
2 meetings ago, didn't we?
Approve for
I'm
what?
sorry, say that again?
The MOU that expired for the fair, didn't you put it back on the agenda and it
Nope.
got approved?
No, that's what
It's
this
right here.
is now. This
I
is
got
that, this is actually a
with you. My bad.
reinstatement, per legal, a reinstatement of the original, which normally for renewals, we just go ahead and send the renewal with them because none of the terms and conditions have changed.
But we upgraded, but there's upgraded remarks in here. There's 3 paragraphs evidently. If you click on upgrade, it will go to the highlighted
Yeah.
areas.
So we're not gonna do renewals, we're gonna do, when the MOU expires, we're gonna offer up a new MOU for y'all to review and
Well,
approve.
then that's where we're at now, so this is a moot point.
Mhm.
Well, this particular one is dated effective tomorrow,
Okay?
and it expired, as he said,
It did.
in April.
It did, we failed to
April
get it, we
15th.
failed to get it back on the agenda. Since then, I have discontinued those services that were being done out there under really and I hate to say it like this, it was a unwritten agreement. For decades, the county did business in different ways. I'm not saying right or wrong, it's just how it was done. You asked me to get my arms around these MOUs, and that's what we're doing. It has been proven to be a little difficult because of the way some of them were written. Obviously, the terms and conditions of them could be described as not favorable to the county or not the best deal for the county. But those are the new components that are going to go into these MOUs as we move forward.
So why would we want to approve this
Yeah,
today?
you shouldn't be approving
Are,
anything today.
are we? Is that the question?
You know,
Yeah.
um,
It's expired, so now you need a new MOU. If
And we
you're going
don't
by
really
your
know.
rules that you just said, it's expired, so we have to create a new MOU,
Correct.
correct?
Okay, we'll pull this off this agenda and put it on the next with a new MOU.
Mr. Chairman?
Is that fair?
Yep.
Commissioner Gladwell?
This particular MOU was a handshake deal from the early 70s. And we'll have to listen to
Go ahead.
the Fair Association traded the property that the current extension office building is located on in exchange for these services. And I would also point out that currently, the county does not own the parking lot where y'all are parking, we are parking. And we do not own any kind of driveway into our building. So to say that this is one-sided is not accurate. And, I mean, it's in our interest to keep our parking availability in our driveway to our building. And that's all I'll say about that.
Well, this doesn't include, the Walton County Sheriff's Office has an MOU. Who else has it? No, I'm just saying, look at all the MOUs that affect this area. The school board has their own MOU with the facilities. So I'm just trying to weigh hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've spent over the last few years against the 2 or 3 times we've used it. And I know we use it to have employee dinner around Christmas time. I mean, it'd probably be cheaper for the county just to rent the space out for the day at $500 or $600, whatever it is, instead of.
Do we want to take this off the agenda and address this at the next meeting?
Yes, sir, let's pull up the agenda and I'll bring back.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, let's do that. Show that done. All right, 49.
Good afternoon, Chair, Board, thank you. Item 49, I'm going to ask for a late tabling of this item. I think it's a little short-sighted to take up any budgetary
anyone
items.
object?
Excuse me?
Okay. Does anyone object?
No.
No.
All right, we'll save it for another day. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
You got
Tab-
another one.
Tab 50.
Yeah, so tab 50 is a request to, for the board approval to utilize a continuing engineering service firm to update our concurrency management system, our level of service spreadsheet, and other associated documents and information that we maintain. This is directly related to our comprehensive plan and our requirements to maintain concurrency. Our engineering folks have been doing that work since our last servicer contract ended. We're hoping to go back out and reinstitute a contract in the short term while we actually seek to produce and outlay an RFP to get some services for a more robust activity in the future. So
But you need this in the interim.
this is in the interim, a short update and
Second.
maintenance
All right,
period.
so a motion by Commissioner Gladwell, second by Commissioner Johns. Any questions, discussion, anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tab 41, Public Works.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Request to approve the installation of a geopolymer lining system for the culvert located on County Road 395. This is just north of Canal Street, using a trenchless pipe rehabilitation service under the HGAC by cooperative contract with Vortex Services in an amount of $698,338. This is a funded project through our Public Works Maintenance Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Johns, second by Commissioner Gladwell. Any questions, discussion? Anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, 53, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you. This item is a request for direction regarding departmental operational audits. If you'll remember back in April, the board gave direction to bring back estimated costs for department operational audits. We did find a Florida Department of Management Services state contract that does provide for organizational strategy development, which includes internal and external audits. So we would like to get direction in order to get a good cost estimate for you. What departments would you like to look at first? Because it would be vastly different to look at GIS versus, say, Public Works.
I'd personally like to do every department, but do you want a first to last?
I'm not sure how it would go to throw out all the departments to a firm to get quotes. If you
So-
want to do quotes, it's going to be much easier to have the laundry list, and it may not be there's a long list of vendors, and we would also want to just make sure we get the vendor that has the most specialty for, like, let's say GIS. It might be a different vendor than one that looks at Public Works.
I mean, I would start, I don't know, is this adequate to suggest a department at this point, or you just want us to send you our preferences for direction?
That's what I was going to ask too. Do you want us
Either
just to
one.
send you a list of what we would like? Or, I mean, if you want us to.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Can I ask Mr. Kellenberger a question? Couldn't you and your staff do these things in-house a lot cheaper? Now, when we're not talking about a financial audit, we're talking about an operational audit.
I would engage the clerk of courts, inspector general to do them. They offer up these services. Kelly Cornelius, we've met her before in this room,
So-
offering up that same thing. What I would encourage to do is, when we say a departmental audit, we probably ought to think in context of components of the department. Planning department obviously is a very large department, does a lot of things. You know, if you said audit that complete department, we would have to give, you know, a more detailed scope or narrowing down of, say, audit the BPR process. And I would encourage that with all the large departments. Public Works has a bunch of different functions they do. Code Department has different functions that they do, and all that. So
I would extend to an external audit. I mean, I don't want the Fox telling me how many chickens I got in the hen house.
Brian,
I don't disagree with you.
Brian, talking to the mic there.
I'm sorry. I think maybe if we're going external, I would offer up, and maybe Melissa can have it, can we send them like a list to get individual cost proposals for items 1 through 10?
We can.
So,
It's fine with me.
Melissa, what's an example of a finding of fact that you're gonna see from these operational audits? What are they gonna detail?
so typical operational audits, you first define what is the function of the department and how do they do it. And then you go in and review their processes to see if they're doing it the way they're supposed to be doing it. In its simple form.
But it's gonna spit out a findings, it's gonna say,
It's going to say.
we have determined,
Mhm. And say that you are following your processes and policies, and the performance you have is efficient or non-efficient.
Okay.
And it'll offer up ways to be more efficient if you're deficient.
I know I've used some of these in the past in the private industry where, you know, as soon as you go in and you buy, and you purchase an entity to join with your mothership, the first thing you go in there is you give a piece of paper to all the employees and tell me what you do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then you take all those sheets back and you're like, why do I have 6 people sharpening the same pencil at the same time every day? So, I mean, this is the kind of process we need. I need to make sure that we are following, and we've already discovered that we're not. We are following the processes that we've put in place ourselves, and then we need to adjust or fix those. We just keep kicking the can down the road, and you got enough to do. I mean, you have plenty to do. And I didn't mean to, you know, you're not the fox in my example. I'm just saying that you have plenty to do, you got plenty on your plate. So I think an external, outside, looking in is the best way to approach this.
I agree. I would prefer that as well.
Would you like
well, I
for
think
staff?
we need to get some pricing
Yeah.
first.
Would you like staff to put together a list of what we believe would be the appropriate components of each department that would be auditable? And then come back to y'all and y'all compare down the list?
Yeah, as well
There's
as,
some prices. We need
Well,
prices.
first, before we go send out there, I would like to say, okay,
Define
is
the
this an
No.
area that you would like to look at? And then you all say yes. And then we say, 10-4, we're gonna get some pricing for you, and then you can say yes again based on the pricing.
and I would like the opportunity for the board to send you some of that criteria as
That's what I'm
well.
saying. Y'all send it to my department. Mike and Mary will put together a detailed list of, like I said, I highly encourage we do it by component and not just say go audit planning.
Right.
It's gonna be too big of a price, and it's gonna be too big of a.
I think
step.
after the
Narrow it
last few months, I think we kind of know some of the areas
I
and
think we do
criteria
too,
that we
and
need.
then we'll
So-
go ahead and prioritize the list as we think y'all have already prioritized it, and y'all can let us know if we're right or wrong, and, but most importantly, let's pare it down to, so we can give the people that want to give us a proposal, a way to give us the most,
Bang for our buck.
yeah, the best, you know, they know exactly what we want.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good with that, Chair.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
let's move to tab 54, recommendation from the Auditor Selection Committee.
The Auditor Selection Committee met in May, and the current agreement with Carr, Riggs and Ingram has an option to renew subject to annual review and recommendation of the Auditor Selection Committee. This was a unanimous recommendation to continue with them for the next fiscal year for the financial statement audit and the ancillary engagements, and we would just like to get direction from the board on what your wishes are.
Do we have a
Motion to
motion?
approve.
So a motion by Commissioner Glidewell, seconded by
Me.
Commissioner Anderson. Are there any questions, discussion? Anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Show it passes 5-0.
Chair, do you mind if we take a short break before we get on to mine?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
I believe that's the first time you've asked for a break. All right, we'll get back to pick up where we left off, which was, all right, we're at the commissioner request. So, Commissioner Curry,
Yes, sir.
55?
Thank you for the break, by the way.
All right, I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make the motion.
So motion by Commissioner Curry, second by Commissioner Gladwell. Any discussion, questions? Anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0.
The second one, I think, or 56, Chair, I kind of wanted engineering to, is Chance still here?
He's here.
Okay. I had asked for a kind of a crash data type report or anything, and some of it looked like it was pretty bad in some areas, so I just wanted to get maybe his 2 cents or direction from the board. Do we want to go any further with this and see what we can do about some of these areas that were in red, so on and so forth?
I think they're on about a 45-second delay back here, so I'm.
Okay.
We sent a committee to get him.
Sorry, Chance. I was just saying, I mean, I really appreciate the report. That was fantastic. I think I got more out of it than I was really asking for. But I guess I'm hitting the ball back in your court. What can we do to some of these areas, or can we do to some of these areas that show a little more concern than others? Is there any signage? Is there any, I guess I'm leaving it up to you. What can we do in maybe some of these areas that show concern?
Well, I think really what, is it not on? For me, what it really highlighted was some of the intersections that we've already have in the capital improvement plan to make improvements to.
Okay.
And some other intersections that we've already had internal discussions about modifying, like J.D. Miller and Chat Holly, for instance. That was one of them that was highlighted, and that's one that we've discussed on making a 4-way stop following the Nelly Drive, Chat Holly intersection 4-way stop.
Okay.
The other thing is Holiday Road and Scenic Gulf Drive was another intersection that was highlighted there that we've already got scheduled in the capital improvement plan for a signalized intersection. Now, all the other intersections, primarily that are DOT intersections, we have some opportunities to make modifications there, but primarily that's DOT's responsibility.
What can we do? Can you make a phone call or lean on somebody or call somebody and say, hey, this is this report that we got. Is there anything that you can do? Can we do something in conjunction with each other? What is the process? I mean, I just don't want to say, well, that's state, we don't want to do anything.
Yes, DOT will typically do an intersection evaluation, signalized intersection evaluation or something like that on a 3-year basis, unless they have work already identified to be done there, scheduled or in the 5-year work program. So we can look at those intersections that we have with DOT, contact them and see when their last study was. If their last study was 3 years or older, they will update that study and then make recommendations based on those results.
Do we need to poke anybody in that direction, or they do it on their own, or can you say, hey, here's this report?
We can request it.
Okay.
If they're not already in the process of doing it, we'll make that request, and that will start that process for an improvement to that intersection.
So would you say, 75% of this report you guys already have on the radar that you're dealing with, and the other 25% would be FDOT that you could possibly push in the
Yes.
direction of fixing?
I would say so, yep.
That's easy to me. Thank you, Chance.
Thank you.
Chairman, wait, Chance.
Yes.
Have you ever y'all ever looked at 4-way stop at J.D. Miller and?
Yes, that's, I think I might not have said J.D. Miller, that's what I meant, but J.D. Miller was one of the ones that was highlighted in that.
Well, I'm talking about J.D. Miller and Chat Holly putting a 4-way
Yes.
stop there? Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah,
if that
so
was
right now,
okay.
Nelly Drive Extension, which will come out beside Publix there on Highway 98, it will be under construction starting July the 15th, roughly. That's when they'll really break ground out there. And with that project, the intersection of Nelly Drive and Chat Holly will be all-way stop 4-way intersection. And once that is established, we were considering doing the same thing at J.D. Miller in Chat Holly And then also, once Old Blue Mountain Road is constructed, that would turn into a four-way stop on Chat Holly as well.
Is there any concern that might, with that many there, I mean, I'm all for it, but is there any concern that that's going to cause more congestion, or, I mean, because the one at 395, it works great. I mean, 393, it works great, and I'm assuming these others are going to work along that line too, right?
Yes, given the fact that we'll have close to the equal amounts of traffic volume on all approaches, especially the two east-west approaches on Chat Holly, and then the northbound approach from those roads that connect to 98, I think that will increase the efficiency and optimization of those intersections, have four-way stops there, and then ultimately, they may turn into signalized intersections at some time in the future
Okay,
once it's warranted.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 56, 57?
All right. Well, I know we went down to the FACT conference, and we got some information.
Chance, you might want to stay for this.
The FACT conference, and we got some more information on the, the property tax and all that. So my concern is we don't know anything yet. I've heard from folks at this board, a $30 million loss, $14 million loss, $6 million loss, $9 million loss, $8 million loss. I actually went to the property appraiser and sat down with him and said, can you show me a little bit more from your insight, since he kind of has a big role in this? And he told me, and this is completely opposite of everything that we've been told. Everything you've heard is loss, 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 loss. He said if this was implemented, and this year would have been the first year for the $150,000 decrease or the taxable discount, we would be net positive 2.7 million. So I think, I don't know, before the first budget, we probably need to put pencil to pen. Maybe somebody go and talk to Mr. Greger and get his thoughts and make sure that I'm on the same page as he is, because I'm getting 5 or 6 losses from anywhere from 6 million to 30 million, and then I'm getting from the appraiser, if it was installed this year, we'd be a net positive 2.7. So I mean, we need to know this before we go into the budget and we start assigning dollar amounts to these departments. In my opinion. So do you have anything to add?
I'll be happy to get back with his office. They're the ones, when we looked at next year's, at the estimates for next year, they're where we got our numbers from. We calculated our own, but then we verified those with his office to get fiscal year 27 decrease of 5.5 million, and then a fiscal year 28 decrease of 5.5 million, and then the next year would be a decrease of 4 million. But I'll get back with them, because we were using their numbers.
It'd be great for all of us to at least be in the same ballpark. I mean, that's a broad stroke from 30 million loss to 2.7 gain. Mr.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think that the 30 million was if the original plan of doing away with ad valorem tax.
I don't know, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I just thought I heard that recently.
Am I correct there, Melissa?
It sounds reasonable.
Yes, that does sound correct.
So I think it'd be better knowing everything going in, especially from all the key
I agree.
personnel.
Just
So-
like predicting the weather. I mean, you think it's gonna rain and it doesn't, it's gonna be an estimate.
I just don't want to leave a meteorologist out, let's get them all in there.
We're going to bring you a budget back that recognizes, the possibilities that may happen in November. And also includes the new taxable values and all that. There's a few moving parts, but not that many, but we're going to give you a budget that allows y'all to make a decision on if it does pass or if it doesn't pass.
Right.
And other decisions, rollback rates and all that.
It's just hard to make a budget when you don't exactly know what you got.
That's why you got to put together more than one.
And that's why you got to ask more than one person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we deal with facts.
Yeah.
So the facts are, there's a number that the property appraiser comes up with taxable value. That's a given, okay, or that's a known.
So he would be the chief meteorologist, so we probably do need to see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do.
I tried to get him to come here, and he gave me the deer in the headlight look, so.
Well, we get to be a little contentious up here, so.
I love him. That's all I got, sir, unless there's anybody else on it.
58?
So I met, and Mr. Colson is here, and if you would allow, if I need to bring him up here to ask anything, but he had called me with a couple citizens, and I met him out there at Harbison Field, and I know when we ran the football and cheer league, we used that facility. And I think we do have an MOU with them on that part? Okay. I just wanted to see if I could use my rec plat fees to, that bathroom has, I mean, it's a heat box. There's a half-broken water fountain outside for the kids. I'd like to at least try and maybe get 2 water fountains on the outside of that thing. Some kind of ventilation in the restroom, and I noticed that graffiti paint at Choctaw Beach restroom has been phenomenal. There's been, as far as I know, 0 graffiti sticking. So it'd be nice to maybe put that in there.
You got a number in mind?
I think can you click on that? Did I not give a number? I thought it was 10,000. I think no more than 10,000, if that would be
Do you want to make a
suffice to
motion?
the board. I'd make the motion.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Curry, seconded by Commissioner Gladwell to utilize Commissioner Curry's rec plat fees not to exceed $10,000. Any questions, discussion, questions?
I would like to see if Mr. Coson would come up because,
Yeah, we're going to get to that part. Any
okay.
questions,
The
discussion?
question is,
General public. Mr. Coson?
the question is, how much money, Melissa, do we give to the CRA?
It was about 711,000 for fiscal year '26, current year.
So if the county is given 700+ thousand to the CRA, isn't that something that the CRA would or could be putting money into?
No, ma'am. Unfortunately, recreation-based uses are outside the scope of a community redevelopment agency's ambit, both in the city, but also broadly under the statute.
They can't do any of the fields or anything like that?
No, ma'am. It has to be a blight remediation project. Recreation is not part of that broad discussion.
If it were in a neighborhood that was perfectly affected, if that's a way to phrase it, then could it?
It can, if it can be, yes, it can, if
But
it is
it's
part of an
not.
overall community improvement area of a designated area.
But in
This area is not, and is also, more importantly, the problem is, it is owned by the city now. Technically, we looked at this once before, I can tell you that was the hang-up. The bigger problem then was it was owned by the state, which would allow us to stop doing. But you cannot use CRA funds for governmentally owned facilities because it's the government's obligation, is the way the state has looked at it.
I gotcha.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Coson.
Don't go nowhere. No, you can sit down, but I'll call you back. Melissa had told me at a meeting that there was a certain amount of money that had to stay at Grady Brown that was not utilized. So I've reached out to Public Works and Mike Thornton, and there is some areas over there that I think we could put a full court basketball, possibly a pickleball, and a sand volleyball court over there. And that would encompass that $50,000 that is over there at Grady Brown that has to be spent on Grady Brown. I just want, I guess, direction at this point to see what kind of prices or what it's going to cost, if that would be appeased to the board.
Melissa, how much do we have remaining in that 1 cent, that, was it half-cent sales tax fund?
It's about the $55,000. That's just the residual funding that's left.
That's what's left?
It is.
Okay, so Commissioner Curry, could I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
Like, I see where you're going here. You're wanting to put recreational activities there.
Just because we've been at this recreational thing for the last week and a half, and I don't have a basketball court. I don't
What I
have
was
any
going
of
to
that.
suggest is that consult with our recreational team, Shane and Brad, and let's find out what the demand is. Because like right now, there are places where we have infrastructure for certain activities, but the demand is greater. Like for instance, pickleball. It's loaded up in Definiak at We Care, and so they have 30 people at night trying to play on 2 courts, and then there's space to do more of that, but we don't have the infrastructure for it. So I want to, wherever the need is greatest, I think that would be
Oh, I'm good with that.
optimal in putting something together.
I'm good with that.
I would just suggest that maybe we have a public workshop to let the citizens, because there are a lot of people who like Grady Brown Park because of its grass and because of its nature and because of the oak trees. And so I think.
I like that too.
I think a workshop with staff and let the public tell us.
Can we set up a workshop in Freeport for this?
We certainly can. What I'd like to
Okay.
do is have staff meet with you to talk about what your idea is. We can do some quick conceptual plans and then do a public workshop. And at the same time, we can put together some cost estimates.
Outstanding.
And that's a good idea because we're doing the same thing at Legion Park.
Okay.
And
People don't like it.
there is some difference of opinion on what should be there.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Thank you, Commissioner Gladwell.
All right, 60?
Let's see here. Now, Mr. Colson, you want to come on up? Again, while we were over at Harbison Field, I looked over and I said, well, what the hell's that building? And he proceeded to tell me, what it used to be or what it was used for. And I'm like, hey, can we go in there and take a look? So he called, forgot.
Public Works.
Yeah, and let us in there. And as soon as I walked in there, I'm like, why ain't this being utilized? So they flicked the lights on. All the lights work. AC works. I said, who paid for all these glass backboards in here? And he said, the county did. So I asked, and somebody said, I heard the word condemned, but then when I got the 2019 assessment, it didn't say anything about condemned. It needed some work, and I think I have the assessment in here. So I'm asking the board to maybe get with Mr. Colson. Maybe he goes back, because he even suggested, and there wasn't a whole lot of balk about it when he suggested at the city meeting to turn it over to the county to be a county asset. So.
That floor right there cost the county $250,000 in 2016, I think.
Well, there's that pile back there. They said that's where it buckled up at, right back
Yeah,
there.
It had to be fixed.
Yeah. And I think in the assessment, it showed some cracks in the blocks and all that. We may need another assessment since this one was 2019, but I don't think you can build, even if this cost us, what, $250,000, $300,000 to rehab? I don't know what that number is. You're not going to build anything like this for that kind of money.
I think it was $1 million, because I asked about this, because this would be, we need the facilities, especially basketball.
Yep.
But they said in 2019, it was $1 million to get it back up to where it needed to be.
Well, that's what, can we at least put the effort towards maybe getting a new assessment to see how much it would actually cost now? And I don't want the bells and whistles and gold-plated floor. I mean, I want it accessible to use for the youth.
Yeah.
And it needs to be used for the rec of the county, the parks. I mean, these kids don't have any of this.
One time, we ran an adult league adult league basketball program out of there. I called
Councilman.
a lot of games there.
Councilman,
And it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
what do y'all use the building for now?
Nothing.
Why not?
Good question. That's why we're here.
Is it because it needs repairs, or,
Is it in need of repairs?
I mean, is it because you can't use it in its current condition? Or is it's desirable?
You could use it in its current condition, but it is the bare minimum right now. It would take some maintenance. If I could start from the beginning of how this kind of snowballed, and I'd like to pass out some accolades. Some parents and coaches, first of all, approached me on the street, not at a meeting, and said, is there any way you could get us some bleachers? There's one set of bleachers on the east side and one set of bleachers on the west side, and the parents are standing and they all bring lawn chairs and stuff like that. So can you help us out with bleachers? And I said, well, the city's broke. We're $13 million in debt. And by the way, Ms. Johns, the CRA is a very sore point of contingency with me. So
They will not be able to do this either. Is that right?
the CRA is
Interior renovations would not be consistent with light remediation.
Okay. It's draining a lot of city resources.
Also owned by the city, so back that
Yeah.
challenge there.
So anyway, I
Which we
told
need
him,
to get the MOU in place, right?
So it'll be okay.
That'd be step one.
We would have to come to some kind of agreement of how we want to play together. So currently, that building is not contained in the Harbison Field MOU.
Correct.
I want to hear what Mr. Cosin
Yeah.
to say.
so I told him, I said, you know, the city can't help, we don't have bleachers budgeted, but I'll call and see what I can do. So I called our city manager and I said, have we got any bleachers that's anywhere squirreled away? I said, I know over at Gene Hurley Park, the FAA required that we eliminate that park for airport safety regulations. And so Kobe said, I can call Public Works and get them right out there and see if there happens to be any bleachers. Well, it turns out there was a bunch of bleachers. And so he said, I'm going to have to get with Mr. Kellenberger. And I said, great. When are you going to do it? Well, I'll get to it. I'll call him in the next day or two. Well, one of the things about me that needs a lot of work, and there's a bunch of them, is patience. So we're sitting there having a pre-council meeting briefing, and I picked up the phone and I called Ryan and I said, hey, I'm sitting here with Kobe, you're on speaker. We got some bleachers over there at Gene Hurley. Can you help us? He said, I'll be more than happy to. And so he volunteered big heavy-duty trailers to transport them on that the city doesn't have. He volunteered equipment that could load them on there, and I just want to thank you for all the help that you did. And that got the ball rolling. And so the parents said, can you look at our bathrooms? So anytime I need help from the county, I just start at D1 and work my way down to D5 and see who answers the phone. Mr. Curry answered the phone. I said, could you meet me out here at Harbison Field and look at the bathrooms? They've got one water fountain for all those people out there. The bathrooms are in deplorable shape. And so the parents and the coaches met out there and they talked to Mr. Curry. And then that's when Mr. Curry said, so what's up with the building over there? And I told him a little bit about the history. And here's history on Florida National Guard armories. They were built to take a direct hit because they were used as they were also used to be designed and engineered to be a shelter during hurricane direct hits. So to use layman terminology, it's got good bones. It's got some cosmetic things going on, but when we walked in, Mr. Curry went over to the switch box and started flipping breakers and lights coming on and air conditions on, and he said, this could work. This could work. There's 3 basketball courts running north and south and a full-size regulation basketball court running east and west. And there is a engineer assessment as far as what all it needs. And I called the city manager to ask him if he could forward Mr. Curry that report, and it's not that many years old, and that could probably save some time. Did you ever receive that?
Yeah, I received it, and it's on here. It's a 2019 assessment.
Right, so it's 7 years old, and they really didn't paint that bad of a picture of it. There's windows that need to be placed. There's a lot of things that need to be done, but this can't be done in one, I don't think economically, in one great swoop. But that's up to y'all. That's up to y'all. So it is a resource that's not being utilized. And I appreciate everything you did, and I appreciate everything you did, Mr. Kellenberger, and all of y'all. If there's anything I can do at the city council level, I'm going to put it on the agenda to contact.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir?
So you're going to put it on your,
Yes, sir. Thursday, we have our pre-council meeting with the city manager, and he always asks us, do you have anything you want to put on the agenda? So unless you've got a better idea, right now I'm thinking to initiate communication with Mr. Kellenberg to coordinate how this is going to be done. Is that the proper procedure? This is my first term, so I'm kind of a rookie at this.
could we maybe get 50-year lease for $1 a year?
You gotta ask the council, their call.
Commissioner Drake, this is your district. Do you mind if
Do we need to get the city to
if I
agree to
go
this?
see about it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
So,
I wouldn't want to do it without your knowledge.
No, but I just want to have a game plan, like what is it, what's the overall vision for the facility? What's the plan to keep it up, to use it?
To be a recreational facility
Yeah, for the
countywide,
youth.
because not only is Harbison Field and, with the Armory serve, Defuniak Springs youth athletics, but Freeport comes up here and plays at Harbison Field, and we go down to Freeport and play football, and, you know, it's kind of a county-wide thing where, Harbison Field goes a long way back, as you know. My dad graduated from Walton County High in the class of 40, and he played on that field. He played football on that field, so.
I mean, I think it checks all the boxes for public benefit.
It
So,
does.
I
It
mean,
really
you can
does.
even add in, you know, that's a possible future shelter for anything as well.
Correct.
Well, in 2019, the thought was to do basketball, our rec program, and to restart our adult league. And, because it's hard to get basketball gyms, especially in season. So this would be one that we could use. And,
Well, you could also don't outrule volleyball.
we could do volleyball, we could do a lot of things.
And the
Um,
parents also threw in gymnastics. They'd like to use
Yep.
it for gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
There's a lot of things it could be used for.
If you can get another assessment done,
so let's do this.
But I want to know what our partnership looks
Yeah.
like in this.
well, yeah, that too.
First, let's attempt to define what we want out of each other.
Okay.
So let me meet with Kobe and our legal departments. Good thing is ours is theirs too. But let's define a few things. What is the intent of mutual benefit, okay? What degree do we want to rehab this building to? The 2019 report was a pretty in-depth report, and it does have some things that.
I read it.
Right. So let's decide to what degree we want to
Okay.
rehab the building, because that's certainly going to adjust, you know, the cost. Then we'll come back to y'all. Mr. Coson and Mr. Townsend can go to their council, and we'll come to, they can get their understanding, we'll get ours. With all our legal help, we'll figure out how we're going to play together and to what degree we're going to play together, to include how we're all going to use that building together.
Very
Perfect.
well.
Because that's going to be a problem, not, be a naysayer, but right now, we have limited resources. And so we'll use the means and methods we have now of how we allocate our recreational resources to the different users.
Sounds good to me.
So,
Okay? And if you'll give me a month, that would probably be enough time. It may take 6 weeks to come back with.
okay,
But wouldn't it be helpful if Mr. Coson went back to his council and got permission for Colby to talk to you and y'all work out
Yeah, that-
the details, with Mr. Adkison, of course?
So to be clear, Councilman Coson had this on the last city council agenda. He advised the city council that he met with Mr. Curry about a variety of issues and that this matter was going to be on the next BCC agenda for discussion. Now, at the time they did that, the expectation, I'm speaking for the councilman here, was that it was going to be the very next day, but your meeting had been moved because of fact.
Correct.
At the time, the consensus of the council was to see what the BCC did and have Kobe get back with the county afterwards to figure out direction, because they want to know what the direction would be as well. So it sounds like to me, based on everybody here talking about, this doesn't need to be on either agenda for anybody until the county administrator and the city manager sit down, talk, come back with plans, and come back to the respective boards.
Sounds like a direction to me.
so I put nothing on the agenda
on the agenda
concerning
till
this Thursday.
You can tell Mr. Townsend,
Okay.
he and Mr. Kellberger need to get together.
So,
Awesome.
judging from past history, anytime there was a joint venture between the city and the county did the heavy lifting. Our financial situation isn't that great with the city, and would it be appropriate, Counselor, or inappropriate to suggest as an option to surrender that property to the county?
I think your council's gonna have to make that call. You as an individual council member cannot make that proposal, but certainly if you want to make that suggestion that you would support that to your city manager, Mr. Townsend can certainly discuss that opportunity with Brian. I would note that I've not reviewed the Armory deed and whether there are any reverter clauses or other reasons why they cannot. Several properties we do have in the city do contain those type of reverter clauses, which is probably why we would look at more of a long-term, low-rate lease or an interlocal that governs that. We wouldn't technically need a lease to do that because we are two governmental entities. But why don't we let Brian and Mr. Johnson get together once the city and county managerial sides decide what they want to do, present something to each board who decides what we want to do policy-wise. That's very easy to paper up. We just need to let them get it together.
Everybody good?
Yep.
I'd like to thank y'all. Do you have
Thank
any?
you.
Thank you, Mr. Costa.
All right, tab 61.
Do y'all have anything else for me today?
No, I'm just about done. Thank you, Board, for that. 61, I went up to the candidate forum the other day, and I was looking out the back window and looking at the field behind there. And the reason I'm looking outside my district is because most of the parks that I have are postage stamp parks in my district, and they're pretty much on tap to be fixed, already have money allocated them to be fixed. And I have some leftover rec plat fees that I would like to share to maybe get the north end up to par in some areas, what I can. I don't have a lot, but I'm trying to be, rub some nickels together. And I got with Miss Hunt, I got with Miss Porter, and I forgot her name, forgive me if she's watching, but the Little League board member over there, and they are ecstatic if we could do anything with that field behind them to either make it a practice field for T-ball or the younger. I know that there is a commercial billboard back there. I am not a baseball connoisseur, so I don't know how much feet is involved with a T-ball field. Mr. Thornton would probably know better than that, but I just wanted to ask for direction to see if we could get Mr. Thornton or Shane or somebody to see how much it would cost just to get this field in practice, maybe ability, and if it's, if the ability is there to make it a gameplay for the T-ball or whatever it is, make that happen. I just wanted to see if we could get a price and direction and then go from there, and I'd be willing to give up a little bit of my rec plat fees to do that.
Mr. Mike, can you take care of that? Yes. Okay.
And that's all I have, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Commissioner Gladwell, 62.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been on a long quest to get ball fields in South Walton County. And so we had, at the workshop that we held for recreational and youth sports, it was asked about the Foreman property. And so we've owned that about 6 years, and we bought it to do a stormwater facility, which is almost permitted, my understanding, and then to put a amphitheater there. Well, Seascape is doing the amphitheater, and so if we carried on our plans, we would be in direct competition with private enterprise, which is not a good place for government. So what I would suggest is that we pivot and that we build ball fields on that property that's designated for the amphitheater. Mr. Thornton, I think you've done some work on it. How many ball fields could we get out there, you reckon?
I haven't done that much work. I mean, we could get some ball fields in there, or multi-purpose fields, whatever seems to
Both.
fit for the
Could I
need.
interrupt you just a
Yes.
second? Mike and I talked about this briefly, and I talked with Charlie and Chance about this briefly. And our goal is to put as much baseball as we can at Helen McCall. Mike and I talked about, and I think, did you say you had talked to the football people about this, about moving the football out?
We've moved, our rec soccer program ran 650 kids in South Walton. We've
Yeah.
moved that piece of our rec program to South Walton Sports Complex.
Yeah.
And we moved some travel programs to the Boys and Girls Club.
Right. From talking to Chance and Charlie, we can get, if we can move the football, put field out there, and they seem to be okay with that, because they'll be out there by themselves, basically. We've got 3 fields, no, we got 5 fields. What do we got now?
You've got 3 multipurpose fields right now.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the baseball fields. We got,
You've got 3 at South Walton, you've got, counting the T-ball field, 3, 4 at Helen McCall. We're adding more.
and we're adding 6.
We're adding 4 technically, and then a redesign, we'll end up with a net, a total of 6.
The way the engineers and I figured it, and I'm taking, because I'm not an engineer, but I'm taking their word for it. We could possibly end up with 15 fields, maybe.
It would depend.
Yeah, because we can get, I think they said they thought we could get 6 where the 2 football fields are. And so that would put just about, counting the 3 fields at Helen McCall, and I've got something coming up about at Walden Sports Park. We have 3 bigger fields, and we have 2 kind of special-made T-ball fields, but I've got that under me, and I'll bring that up in a minute. But with all the fields, we could possibly end up with 14 to 16 baseball fields down here. Now, not all of them are gonna be regulations, some of them will be T-ball, some of them will be girls, but,
Would this be utilizing that amphitheater property? Is that what you're, okay.
Yeah, it would be.
yeah, and so, to finish this, I would like to wait a minute, let's get the engineers back in here at the next meeting down here and see what they're saying, because I think Chance has left already.
No, he's not. He's standing right there.
Okay, come on in, Chance.
But,
Well, Mike and I talked about this, and
Yeah,
this
and
would
if I
take care-
could expound a little bit,
Yeah.
we as staff have been, we conducted all the workshops. We've got a survey that ends today concerning the entirety of our Parks and Recreation program, so we don't have that data in yet. We're working toward a near-term, intermediate, long-term plan. We've got some planning issues that come into play that where that long-term plan comes in. We've worked some conceptuals to see what might fit, but that's nowhere a design, right, a full-out design. We're wanting to get as much space as we possibly can, as quick as we can, in the right manner.
Yeah.
And the issue is, we're going to have to step back, take a little bit of a pause, and say this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't, and see what we've got the money to do, near-term, intermediate, long-term,
So-
obviously,
So the request is to consider utilizing this as part of that plan, right?
Well,
Okay.
what-
I don't think anybody has does anybody have an issue
But
with that?
we would, because it was a board action to do it, the amphitheater, we would need a board action to undo that.
And,
But you got TDC money involved too,
And
correct?
I'm getting there.
now, hold on, let me address that real quick. The biggest reason the board has to take action is not the amphitheater. The biggest reason the board has to take action is that the board contributed multiple millions of dollars of tourist development revenue into this. There was a resolution, correct, Melissa, excuse me. So we passed a resolution finding a tourist-related purpose for the use of that money, and the statutory provision it was under was for the construction of an amphitheater. So the moment we move away from that, we are against our own resolution. Now, if you've had another tourist-related purpose, we would just need to amend the resolution. The challenge with this specific requested use is that as of today at least, we have 2 studies, going back to the golf garden being the original, and then one later one, that says that sports fields and the other one we did related to Alderberry. Please don't throw anything at me, Commissioner Johns, for saying that word.
My favorite word.
And well, I apologize for referencing it, but it was referenced there as well, that ball fields were not consistent with our tourist-related mission. So whatever we do, I want to be very clear, no matter what we do here today, and may save Mr. Powell having to do too much talking today. Mr. Thornton, Melissa, Mr. Algren are gonna need to get together and look at dollar for dollar payback out of county general fund to the TDC for those dollars to free that up, and then we can reset the resolution.
Were there any state grants, monies used?
You'd have
for any
to,
of that?
I'll refer to Melissa, I think there was,
I feel like there were.
There was $14 million.
If I could make a recommendation here.
so we're gonna have to reconcile every one of those dollar for dollar.
So what is your desire? Do you want to let the
What,
legal team work?
that was my motion, is that we stop any work on an amphitheater, and that we instruct Ms. Thomason, Mr. Adkis, and Mr. Algren to,
Look for other recreational
or to
opportunities?
figure out what it's gonna, how we can get ourselves clear with the TDC.
Hold the motion. Melissa, are you clear on that? Brian, you're clear on that? I'm clear on that for the record. We will take that as direction. I do not want us to officially stop, pause. You're gonna have to undo that resolution. So let us bring you the whole package back, exactly how much money has to go back. But for the rest of staff, I hope the direction's clear as well, Mr. Powell and Mr. Thornton. The intention here is we don't need to be spending any more money on this project over the next 30 to 45 days until we can get the board something back about the direction
That's
of
right.
what we're gonna do.
We've not spent money there as far as that goes, and
Fair enough.
an amphitheater and sports fields may work for that property. In other words, it's not a all or nothing proposition. We just hadn't had time to take a complete
Commissioner
look at
Brown,
what
were you
we can do.
comfortable where we're
That's
going?
where I wanted to go.
All right, well, we landed there. Everybody's good?
And we will make sure the TDC is briefed as well, Mr. Chair.
All right.
That's
perfect.
all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Tab, Commissioner Jones, tab 63.
Yes, I wanted to bring up the underground utilities.
I think we did.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that was brought up at an earlier meeting, and we had a thorough briefing on it. So what I would like to do is just ask staff to really look into it and see if it brings any information back on cost and things like that.
Okay.
On 64 is, I'd like to allocate $100,000 of my, I'm sorry, no, I'd like to allocate $100,000
I'll
of
make
my
that
rec
motion.
plat fees for batting cages, and these are not the automated batting cages, just regular batting cages for Helen McCall Park. And
All
I believe
yours.
there is a place that's going to be set up for that already in the new design. So I'd like to
Second.
earmark
All
that.
right, we got a motion by Commissioner John, second by Commissioner Glidewell. Any discussion, questions? Anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it done, 5-0.
Okay, I wanted to, on note 65, discussion on code enforcement regarding signs along Highway 98. I know that we had a pause on Highway 98 there for a while because of some issues that were going on, and we released that pause. So my question is, I did sit on the design review board for a few years way back, and I know that part of that process was any development, any, commercial business that was going to be on Highway 98 or 331 south of the bridge had to come before that board to get their signs approved. And so we have, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a large percentage of the buildings, the facilities that actually do have the signs that have been approved, and they look very nice. However, there are still several that do not, and I don't understand why they're not in compliance with the rest of the county as far as the requirements along Highway 98. And I would just like to ask that you, Brian, look into that and find out, why that's the case and what we can do to correct it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And the last thing we've already covered under you, which was the driving on Grayton Beach, so that's all I've got.
You had popular subjects that came up earlier.
I know.
Vice Chair Anderson?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to,
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Second.
Second.
Go ahead. So go ahead with your motion.
$100,000 District 5 rec plat fees for the T-ball field and South Walton Sports.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Anderson and seconded by
Mine did.
Commissioner Glidewell. Any questions, discussion? Anyone from the public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show that done, 5-0. All right, chair has none. Public comments. Ms. Howard?
Yes, Tabitha Howard. I want to rewind. Where is Alan's report? That was my citizen's request to begin with. It was somewhat actionable. Nobody did anything. No one said a word when I left. Where's the March the 9th, 2021 report that was promised to Alan? And then it was asked, actually, you had said the same thing in 2025, that I would have that report within a week or two.
Do you want to answer the question?
Stop my time, please.
I think Mr. Kellenberger's briefed the board very well on this. DEP's provided information as to this about why the county did not go through with generating that report. But ultimately,
Bruce
what
McCormick
has
told me
changed-
he read
Ms.
it.
Howard, give us an opportunity. If you're going to ask a question, let us
Sorry.
answer it.
But ultimately, what's changed since January of 2025 today is that a matter that did in fact encompass the issues of the Sandestin DRI, including open space, stormwater, and otherwise, was remanded for further proceedings. That pushed this firmly back into litigation. That was in February of last year. We have pending litigation on this matter. The reason we're not addressing these matters in public meetings is because there is still pending litigation on this issue.
I'm not in pending litigation. I'm Tabitha Howard,
The
and I live
issue-
in
the issue is,
Sandestin.
Ms.
So,
Howard-
May the 24th, 2024, I actually sent to Code a complaint because they were direct piping pool water into the bay. So at 3:37, they actually called Dana Matthews about this incident. So, but it was all solved by 2:24 that day, and then the case was closed. But it was 2 weeks later, after that's whenever my big ban came into effect. And Kristen Cloud told me on the phone what it was about. But this has been going on for 2 years now, since June of 2024, after I did my May the 24th code complaint. And I've done several more, and every time I do, it gets worse for me in Sandestin. And this isn't right. Where am I supposed to go? You keep saying litigation, but y'all keep building stuff too. You should not be building right now if it's in litigation. And quit handing out all the permits. And we know that it's right, because I've been sitting and watching the depositions, just like I hope that y'all have as
Now
well.
we're clearly talking about litigation if we're mentioning depositions.
Our depositions, sorry, what? It's public. It is public.
And
So-
the board's rules make it very clear that matters of pending litigation are not subject to public comment.
Where is the report?
I think you already asked that, and he answered it.
Yes.
Bruce McCormick's, he read it. It was a couple years ago that he and I got into it with his wife, Shanna. Actually, that was the time that Donna was supposed to be the chair or whatever, but that was a crazy day. But the report has been gone over. And I don't understand why it has been withheld from me. Because I live in Sandestin, and this deals with my every single day. I get up, I can't go to the pool, I can't go to the marina, I can't go anywhere. All I have my house. And then, the only place that I could go was at the Beach House Restaurant, but then Matt Fichard lost his lease, and then I was at the grocery store, and a kid came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're Tabitha Howard. I saw your picture in the office." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You're the girl. You can't be here." And I'm like, "Well, I've not even gone in there." So then I actually went to see. I went outside to the beach pool, and I asked Zach, and he said, "Yeah, I've worked here for about 10 years. I've never seen anyone's picture in there. Tabby, we don't know what you did, and we're so sorry." I had staff coming out hugging me, going that they're so sorry for what's happening to me, and it's not right, and it's y'all's fault. I blame y'all.
Thank you. Who's next? Mr. Osborne? Who else is next? Who else is left to speak? We have one more, Ms. Morano and Lee. All right, so we have 3 left, 4, all right.
For the record, Alan Osborne, I'm here about code enforcement. And when that motion that she spoke about was passed, this litigation had been in place for 15 years. You've continued to talk to Mr. Becknell about it. You've continued to talk to everybody. That's just a selective enforcement thing, because that's not really a policy, because I could prove in court y'all broken it 20 times. So it's only a policy for us where it's convenient. But when that report came out, your own staff just admitted the other day that he just went around and briefed y'all. You know what that's called? That's called polling. And when you poll your commissioners, that's a law that y'all should ask Clay about, because that's what you're doing. You're
I'll be
going-
glad to answer. Your county
I'm not
administrator
done
can
talking
provide,
yet. I'm not
pause
done
his
talking
time.
yet. He interrupted me. He can answer you when I'm
Mr.
done.
Osborne, we're trying to get this into a posture that we can
Let
answer
me
your
finish.
question.
You don't know what the rest I'm gonna say. I don't need Clay interrupting me.
You told me
again.
for them to ask
Hey,
me, so
listen,
let me explain.
you can do it on your time, Clay. Stop grinning like you're the Cheshire Cat.
All right.
Now let me
Mr.
talk.
Osborne,
Let
we
me
don't,
talk.
we don't need
I don't need this
derogatory
either.
statements.
Stop him. Get off me.
Well, you're on the clock.
You have chosen, I was told I could have code enforcement, so to heck with the litigation. I did public records, you never put in all that stuff that was said to me, there's no record of it, none whatsoever, none. And your staff is picking from a letter, I don't want to hear about the DEP either, because they don't govern this. Mr. Becknell admitted the other day that he has not turned in a report on Driftwood Estates and said Driftwood's turned it in. That means if that's true, nobody's turned in a report on Driftwood since 2010. This court settlement says an annual meeting. Who overrode the court settlement? Now it's biannual.
We're now talking about litigation.
No,
again,
I'm
Mr.
talking
Chair.
about a report for code enforcement.
Well, he just said a court settlement. That has nothing to do with code
Now, I said
enforcement.
Mr. Becknell said that he had not turned in a required report. It's in your ordinance. He said, I don't report on Driftwood. Then how, if he has no ownership and has never reported it, how did those lot splits? He said the only thing he's putting in the annual report is the take on Sandestin density. Well, that's not what used to, so who's in compliance? Mr. Becknell said he's not signing anything saying that he's in compliance. So it says, Florida statute, the local government issuing the development order is primarily responsible for the provisions of its compliance. They shall not issue any permits to anybody who's in substantial noncompliance. I'm asking for code enforcement. Aside from all the litigation, y'all not scaring me with that. You didn't give it to me. I have evidence, and now your staff says that one sentence of a letter matters and all the rest of the sentence. They said that the sentence that matters is the stormwater facility must be consistent, this is code, with DEP rules. But what they left out was that's the end of a sentence. It says the Sandestin DRI in my code is required to provide stormwater treatment, retain runoff from a 3-year, 24-hour event, and that other statement.
You have 8 seconds.
You've got a problem. I know how many seconds I got. Won't you worry about the issue, little man? I'm sick of you talking to me like this. You're breaking the law, and I'm asking for enforcement, and your staff has admitted that
Mr. Osborne, you're out of order.
I don't care what you think. The freedom of speech will not be interfered with by your policy ever.
May God have mercy on your soul.
May God have mercy on you. Don't you ever
Sir.
challenge me, little boy. You don't talk to me like that.
Remove this man. Is that assault, Clay?
That is.
Well, there's a threat right there.
For the record, the county administrator is welcome to brief every one of you. I would hope if the county administrator briefs any one of you, he does in fact brief all 5 of you. I feel him doing the opposite of that would be a disservice to both the member briefed as well as the members not briefed. That is not polling. Polling is when he comes to each of you and says, Commissioner, how would you vote? How would you vote? How would you vote? And then assembles those votes through a proxy. So just to be clear, I want to put on the record, that's not polling.
That's disorderly conduct.
All right. Any other public comments? Ms. Morano?
On another issue, I did not want to bring this up during the consent agenda because there were just some other items I wanted to have flow very smoothly. But you have a budget workshop locations. There are 4 in July at 10 a.m. I quickly talked to Melissa about this. We're missing a population when we have budget workshops at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're missing the people who are working. And taxation without representation, I don't have to finish the rest. we need to understand how we can get, and this is part of the communication issue that we had talked about in the strategic planning this morning, about how do we get people to come in on these issues, not just talk about them on Facebook, not just have 500 people at a strategic survey, but 10 o'clock in the morning is very difficult for people who work. Melissa and I quickly talked, and I'll let Melissa maybe talk after I'm finished, about doing something on social media, doing some webinars. But the last meeting for the budget hearing is September at 5:01 in the evening, and that's when you don't want to hear from the public. Now, it was shared that when you have 6 o'clock meetings, nobody shows up. That's not your fault if you post something and nobody shows up, but you post something on Parks and Recreation, you can't, the room is filled up, there's no seating. So I'm just bringing this up to see what we can do to get more public participation. I'm willing with South Walton Community Council to send out to our email list, but that doesn't touch it enough. And I'm on social media forwarding everything that the county puts out. But you have 10 meetings, Paxton, Freeport, Defuniak, and South Walton Annex at 10 o'clock, all on different days. And I believe you have to be there as well. So that's a commitment on your part, and I appreciate that. So I'm just bringing up, Melissa, what do you think? How can we help get more people?
Commissioners, we, like I discussed with Ms. Barano earlier, we have tried to do the late afternoon meetings. We do them in August because that's when people start getting interested in the budget, is when they get their proposed tax notices. We're not really seeing a lot of participation because after someone's been at work all day, I really don't know how much interest they have in showing up at a meeting. We would like to push more information out in more of a webinar format, push it out on Facebook, on the county website. We're always available by phone, by email, and if there's interest, I'd be happy to meet with anyone in person. So that's kind of what we were looking at this year, to try to build up participation. That might be better. We have put a lot of information out in prior years, and we'll do it again this year online, but we've got the analytics showing how many people look at it, and when you take out what's most likely the employees going in and looking at their departments, there's not a lot of web traffic on those budgets. So that's really what we were thinking this year, because it seems like everyone's got a Facebook account, and if it can get pushed out there and online, I think we might get more participation.
Is there an issue if, I'm just speaking for myself, the other commissioners can speak however, is there an issue with a solo commissioner holding a budget town hall?
Not that I know of. I mean, you can really hold a town hall to discuss any part of the county operations. It's just you don't have everyone else to make a decision.
Okay. I mean, that way you might be able to collect some information to take with you from the
To come
folks
back.
that can't make the 10 a.m. timeframe. So I'm just spitballing, so.
But to your point, in the past, we've had very little people show up, regardless of what time we have those meetings. The only time they show up is at the very last one. That's usually just the one where you just lock it in. And so, and I know last year that we brought it up several times, asking people to be sure and come to the early meetings, and they just don't. But if you think it would be beneficial to put it out on social media or something like that, and I know with the new program you've got, people can log into that as well, right? So they
There's
can
quite a
log
bit of
directly
information.
into the budget through that system.
I'm hoping we can push more people to that as far as departments go, because I believe on just about every department's page, there's now a video that, Ron does those videos on the activities in the departments, and those have been linked on those pages. So there's a lot of information out there.
Well, thank you. I like your idea of town hall meetings, and Melissa, you have some staff that could even be at those town hall meetings, which I think.
Would you be willing to have one of your staff members if
Oh,
I hold a town
absolutely.
hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd look forward to District 5, maybe. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And I know it's been a long meeting. Let me just take one moment to say, you don't have your full legislative briefing yet. The governor technically has through today to sign all and veto all. One of the bills that went into effect this year deals with local government transparency in the budget. I know Melissa and Devin and I spoke, and I just want to go ahead and just say this right now so everybody hears it, because we're talking about it. All the local governments I deal with, and this is not meant as disparaging to any of them at all, what Melissa's already done for you, she's pretty well doing every single thing the state just mandated the rest of the state of Florida counties to do, and then some. So I'm not telling you that everything you just heard is not something you should also consider, but I just want to say, when people start saying, hey, you've got new budget, you've got new transparency issues, what are you doing about them? Why aren't you doing anything different? Because we're already way ahead of them. And so when she and Devin and I sat down and went over it, there are a few things we'll tweak on the way it is presented, is about it. But in terms of the availability on the website, the availability to the public, Melissa's got you set up very well. And we'll keep doing that, and we'll make sure we find additional things. But just so as you see that in your legislative reports, I just want everybody to hear that up front as you're doing this. We're already way ahead of that curve.
Melissa, could you tell us the app that Devin has made that basically saved the county, I think, what, $190,000?
$198,000. You approved the OpenGov contract, and for right now, we have dropped the budget piece off of that. It went down for a few days, and he's been playing around with coding, and he created an app that gives really all of the same information. So that's right now what we are using for the budget.
So you're going to share him with other departments?
No, he's mine. He's mine. He is really the one who has built all this, where we are ready for the statutes that have just passed.
And he did that on his own time.
He did that on his own time. He was a little aggravated when he went home for the weekend that it was down, and before they had the chance to fix it, he came back on Monday and pretty much had us a new one.
He also created it on his own time.
He did.
Now, is that something you could go online?
That's not the first time he's done that.
It's not. He's got another app that I'm hoping that we can use that it really does show if this legislation passes, you can play around with your capital operating, you can play around with so many variables, including inflation, and you can not only see the impact on the current year's budget, it carries it out for years. I mean, I don't know of anything else that exists like that.
He's a smart young man.
He's so smart.
Very fortunate to have Devin. All right, Ms. Moore.
Can I have 10 minutes? I'm just kidding.
You already did.
I know. I'll make up for
20.
it. So that rudely loud car went by, and I didn't hear a word that was said on the undergrounding item.
Well, I didn't even realize you were still here. I looked around for you and didn't see you. I thought
You were
left.
the advocate for that, so.
I was sitting over there next to the plug-in. But anyway, just quickly, I just wanted, my whole point in being here, I was asked to be here, but to speak on this, but also is to hopefully get some funding into next year's budget for the opinion of probable cause, which, by the way, can also be called an opinion of probable costs. So it's both. They use it interchangeably, it seems. So I just need guidance, if you're willing to give it. Should I bring that request to a budget workshop, or how?
Let's revisit Jason Cutshaw's efforts, previous efforts with that, and then I'll make the appropriate adjustments to the budget to make sure we have money in there if the board chooses to move forward with it.
Great, great. And just to be clear, because a lot of people didn't see this morning, we advocate, I'm representing Scenic Walton here, and we advocate for a countywide undergrounding initiative, not just specific area of the county. So just wanted to say that. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Who's left?
Thank you. Allow you my 3 minutes. I appreciate it. I'd just like to say today was really nice to see fluidness going through this meeting as more as the North Walton Kids Association, those kids up there. I was there that day, and Mr. Curry went through that, and Mr. Cosin. And you talk about a sandlot field, that football field is a sandlot field. It needs help. And I want to say thank you. I was glad to see nobody tried to one-up nobody today, and we just took the acceptance and took the charge. And we're going to take care of these kids, just like the ones here in South Walton are just as important. Don't ever think they're not. But the kids in Defuniak were falling short. So thank you again, Mr. Curry, for your initiative, and Mr. Cosin, who's already gone. But thank you again, board, for that fluidness. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dan Howard, I'm Tabitha's husband, Howard. So I actually had come to tell a little bit of what Tabby said about the, maybe not correlation, but two fact patterns, one in which she has put forward a lot of code enforcement complaints concerning Sandestin stormwater management, and the other fact pattern that may or may not be separated, the fact that she is no longer allowed to walk in certain areas of Sandestin, can't go to Baytown because we're worried that she'll get harassed, her likeness being hung in different areas. So it basically has this pervasive kind of caustic influence on people around us to think that Tabitha serves as a second-class citizen because she's persona non grata in a lot of SDI properties. But Tabby already said that, so I don't really have much to say to that. I will tell you, however, I have reviewed and I shared this with Donna the last time I was here, which was in December. I have reviewed all the documentation related to the stormwater. I'm a chemical engineer, just so everybody knows. So water flow is really that's right up my alley, right? It's not a civil engineer who deals primarily with building, not an electrical and mechanical engineer that deal with electricity flow or mechanics. I deal with flow systems. That's exactly what a chemical engineer does. So my opinion after reviewing all the documentation is that my wife's cause for concern on the stormwater management is valid. That's what I'll say. I will also say that I'm obviously exposed because Tabby relies upon me a lot of times to talk about code enforcement complaints. I've seen all the ones that Tabby has put in and how quickly and kind of, I don't want to judge it. I don't get emotional. I'm an engineer. I was a senior business executive, multinational companies for 20 years. You get a lot of calluses doing that, so I don't get emotional. But I do think that there's reason for emotion when you are denied so often, okay? When you step up to bat and you're willing to put your neck on the line to identify a problem, and every time repeatedly it gets knocked down. I think that eventually you get so frustrated that emotion comes out, and you've seen some of that today. So whether it's crying or screaming, I think you see that. That's not just being aggressive. That is just being emotional and reacting where you don't feel like you really have a voice. In those code enforcement complaints that Tabby submitted, that my wife has submitted, Tabitha Howard has submitted, I have seen, it seems like there's a real friendly relationship between the person who's committing the code mistake and the county government. I'm going to corroborate that. And so that is what leads to this frustration. So I just wanted to come up here and say, first of all, a lot of what Tabby's told you guys about the code complaints are valid, and a lot of the resolutions have been very friendly to the accused, and it just feels like nothing ever gets done because it's always swept under the rug. So thank you.
Clay, what are the processes involved to address the last part of this conversation about the retaliation or the accusation of retaliation? Give me what the word says on how those are to be treated.
Well, certainly the county's not banned Ms. Howard from anywhere in Sandestin. We don't have that authority. That would be a civil cause of action between her, the Owners Association, SDI, or otherwise in terms of what she's purporting as retaliation being carried out by a third party. I have not heard, and certainly if the allegation is somehow that we are spurring that on as a county, certainly she can give us that in writing. We'd look into those issues if there is an appearance of retaliation by us. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing the two resulting in a one-to-one retaliation. So that short answer to that is it's a civil action. It's not ours. But that's the best of how to address retaliation, Mr. Vice Chair.
Mr. Bennett, do we have any recourse about a private dispute? Just to be clear.
My recommendation.
Because it was said that we're to blame for this. Do we have any recourse or any input into a private property dispute?
Based on the one that I'm hearing today, no, I don't think so. And it would be my recommendation we stay out of private civil matters between private parties.
But why did we get involved in a private versus private on the beach then?
What do you mean?
I mean,
Which one? Give me
we
an
involved
example.
ourselves in a resolution and everything. Anyway,
It understood
I
the
wasn't
question
asking
better
you.
than I
was-
did, apparently.
I was asking Siri, I guess. I think you're better than Siri, Clay, by the way.
Well, what's the, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm
because
asking what
we involved
private
ourselves in a private versus private down there, so what, I'm just curious.
Which
what-
one, though, I'm asking, because I
Well,
don't know.
the
of any.
Dune Allen, where that's a private versus private, so,
Well,
but
so
we
so let
involved
me say
ourselves in
this.
that one.
To be clear, legal's position in that, and I was not here at that meeting, but it's been my position to all of you after that. We wrote a very broad-based resolution that supports public use of the beach, that I'm confident all 5 commissioners fully and wholly support. It remains my position that we should not be involved in that litigation. We have not filed an intervention in that litigation. We are not in that litigation. I understand we've been asked to be. We have put in there that we support people like people involved in that litigation for their efforts at keeping privately owned lands open and available to the public. Now, we've said that, but the actual adjudication of who owns that land, we are staying out of.
No, I was just curious.
And I continue to take that position. And I will go further to say that the reason I take that position is not because I have an opinion about who should or should not prevail. The reason you don't get in private party on private party litigation is it is very, very difficult to address a one-to-one litigation between 2 private parties having a broad public reaching outcome. So you're spending government money on something that does not necessarily advance the public interest. If the government feels it needs to be involved in every private dispute, we'd have to be in every civil litigation in this county to look at the overarching interest. That's just not what you can do.
But what
I
about
was
the
just
code violations? What about the code violations that she has turned in, and apparently they've not been resolved?
And so this issue's come up several times before. I think you've heard Mr. Osborne even make the comment that I've said, yes, you're entitled to code enforcement. Without weighing in and going over every one of those, because I don't have those in front of me, I don't look at them when they come in either, just like y'all don't. To be clear, that's something code handles and they go before the magistrate with if they find a violation.
Can we ask that, Brian, that you pull those code violations
And
look
I
at
believe
them?
that was previously done, and certainly Brian can look at them again, but I think the issue that's occurred, Commissioner, is that your code staff is looking at these violations that she is alleging are violations, and they are making the determination in their discretion, which they're vested to do as sworn code officers, that it is not a violation.
Even water going illegally into the bay?
Well, I think the allegations it's illegal, but I think code reviewed that and determined it was not illegal. But we can look at each of those, and I would be glad to have Brian, legal, and code come around and talk about those one-on-one with each of you. But ultimately, that is the issue, is that if somebody's saying, I disagree with what code has chosen in their discretion to do, that doesn't necessarily mean code's not doing its job. It just may mean that code's not giving them the answer they're looking for. Certainly, we can talk about what litigation looks like if code's not properly discharging their job. And then we can look at that, and certainly if we come around and show you what has or hasn't happened, and this board feels that the board's code, as you have adopted, is not being carried out, we'll talk to you about how you can address that at your level. But I think that's the rub we see right here, or at least it was when this was looked at back under the prior county administrator, was not that it was a case where code was just throwing complaints away. They were opening the complaint, determining no violation existed, and moved on.
I'd be curious to
Right.
see the
I
one,
would-
especially that big culvert, that big water that goes, that Alan showed me the one day. I mean, that's
Goes out into the bay.
apparent. It's going right into the bay. So, I mean, I'd be curious if there was a code violation on that and what their determination was on that, because I stood on that and watched it, drove around to the other side and watched the water go into the bay.
I'll make sure Mr. Kellenberger and code get with you, as well as with the DEP report that addressed that issue.
Sure.
Right, so I forwarded y'all that DEP report. And that report concludes from DEP and from the Water Management Association that the system was permitted correctly, it was constructed as permitted, and it is operating as designed. And those are the 2 authorities in the state of Florida that regulate stormwater.
So those forms would be attached to that code violation if there was a code violation, what you just stated, as the reason why there's no violation.
Correct. I mean,
I'd be curious just to see that violation then, to see if all that information you just said
You would like
is
for me
attached to
to
that
s-
violation.
Okay.
Unless I'm gonna get an ethics complaint, I mean, I just
No,
want to
no.
see the,
So what you would like to see is what is the response from code enforcement to that particular code complaint?
Yes, please.
Okay.
May I?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
By all means.
Yeah.
Just like I said, what's good for one should come out.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to look at it, that's okay, it's your choice.
Right.
There you go, Mr. Chairman.
And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a sampling, random sampling of Ms. Howard's complaints, and I'll send you the complete case report. Okay?
Fine with me. Make sure we give it to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, where'd we leave off? Who?
Ms. Moore, weren't you?
She already went. Who's left? Mr. Douglas? Ms. Harris, did you go? And then the sir in the back?
Mark Douglas, M-A-R-K, D-O-U-G-L-A-S-S, not to be confused with the C. Douglas. He's so much better looking than I am, so I'll give him that. My parents wouldn't have gone there. Back in November, I came and told you about a situation on my street where a code violator had built a pole barn with no setback and with multiple violations. He was given extra time in which he moved the pole barn, was told to move the pole barn back 5 feet and reduce his 34-foot driveway down to 10 foot. 34-foot driveway is still there. The pole barn did get moved back, I'd say roughly 3.5 feet. I watch a lot of football. He's at least 1.5 feet short of the goal line. I've seen no response from the county. I've asked the county what's going on next. Where are you going to go? And is it going to ask for a variance on top of the variance that's already been granted to him? I'm just asking. And I would like to comment that Mr. Killenberger and Mr. Stone did meet with my wife and I a couple of months ago. Maybe it's been 3 months ago. Basically, we were all of our concerns about safety, the death threats, the reduced setback were completely dismissed. Not to mention our property values have been, and quality of life have been diminished as a result of this. I still haven't seen anybody come by. They had until a given date. Mr. Kellenberger can tell you what day that was. I don't recall anymore. It's been a couple of months. Nothing's happened. I haven't seen any county vehicles on the street. I don't know what's going on. I see a lot of, I watch a lot of meetings, and I see situations where people are, I remember Ms. Johns asked Ms. Schultz from the planning department about whether public safety and property values were considered, talking about a reduced setback or a smaller density or increased density level. She said absolutely. Apparently those things are not considered when it comes to surrounding people's property. And since I only have 20 seconds left, and I'm sure I'll get reminded of it, I have one more question. And I just want to preface this by saying John Grice was my favorite teacher in high school. But 3 months ago, we made money or allocated money for a piece of artwork for John Walton Jr.
Sir, you're out of time, but I'll let you finish your thought.
As a commemorative piece of artwork to be shown during the 250th anniversary of our country. I'd like to know, where is it? How's it going to be seen?
All right,
I
sir.
love Mr.
Hey, sir,
Grice.
you know the rules. Don't try to overstep your bounds. We're trying to treat everybody equally here, and I appreciate your indulgence. You had your time. We've been contacted by our public information officer. We're putting that together. It was supposed to be on a certain date, but there were several conflicts, so we are going to get to do it.
Okay. But I would like to say that
No, sir, you already, Mr. Douglas, please, let's be
there's
respectful.
lots of artists in Walton County that would like to have
Sir,
done
would
this.
you ask him? Thank you. All right. Sir in the back.
Thomas Glidewell, President, Walton County Fair Board. Y'all bear with me, public speaking is not hereditary. First off, I want to say thank you to all 8 of y'all sitting up there, what you go through, what your families go through. As we've seen earlier today, thank y'all for everything y'all do. In response to the MOU that was put off to a later meeting, just want to start off by saying the Walton County Fair, we've been here this will be our 102nd year of having the Walton County Fair. We are a 5013C nonprofit. We do not have a paid employee. We have one contracted employee that gets a little bit of money every month to help us as a part-time job. But other than that, every single person that works at the fair is a volunteer. There are no paid people there. Every year we get around between 7,000 to 10,000 kids that come through the fair to enjoy it. We have the exhibits that we have for the animals that the kids get to do, the art that the kids do that they put in the fair itself. That is our main mission, is to advance the agriculture and the youth of Walton County and display it to whoever wants to come and visit us. Our previous agreement with the county, with our MOU and all, it helps us to be able, the money that we have saved by having the county come up and do small jobs, like fix a toilet, as Commissioner Curry said, we have been able to use that to further better our facilities in other ways to help the kids and the community as a whole experience and have an experience. As we all know, North Walton County is there's not a lot of wealth in the north end of the county. So the fair, for a lot of families in the county, and especially north end, the fair is the one big entertainment thing they get to go to a year. We got families coming to us all the time, tell us we saved up as much money as we could to come to the fair this one day. And so our partnership that we've had with the county for all these years has helped us to be able to continue our mission of furthering agriculture and the youth. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. It's been a long meeting. If our meetings went this long, I probably wouldn't be on the board anymore. So thank y'all for your consideration. I hope y'all do consider us at your next meeting and to continue this long relationship that us and the county have had for, it ain't been 102 years and I ain't that old. I believe it started in the 70s, and again, I ain't that old either. So I would just look forward to continue working with the county. Thank y'all.
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Just one thing. I'm not against having an MOU. I just want the MOU to be specific in nature on what's expected of the fair and what's expected of the county. It seems like the MOU was for emergency basis and use, but it turns out that we had handshake deals from way back, even before probably you were, even a sparkle in the fair's eye, all the way up to current date. And my problem is, who authorized that from the county standpoint and who requested that from the fair? And I haven't got that answer yet. All I got was a handshake deal.
Well,
now, if we want to put some of these extracurricular services in the MOU, then let's put it in the MOU so it's on paper, not handshake deals, not me finding out that we put hundreds of thousands of dollars into something that nobody knew about, and I get an email saying that we have no general maintenance MOU.
I don't have a problem. I can't speak for the whole board because I'm just one member, as y'all well know. So just speaking for myself as the president and as a board member, I wouldn't have any problem with having it spelled out in the MOU.
That's all I'm asking.
Now, the work that has been done up there, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, a huge chunk of that was for property that the fair doesn't own. That was
I didn't even want to get into that one. That's a little funny business there.
I'm just saying that was not. That wasn't us. We're using the property. We have an agreement with the people that own the property to use it, But that wasn't the fair.
Yeah, the only dog in the fight that the
So-
county has is all the labor hours and
Yeah,
services that
yeah,
they're
well,
performing.
and it does get people from parking on 83 during the week of the fair.
Right,
And it's a safety issue, because the infrastructure up there in Defuniak is not great. But it does move them. But, so, that huge chunk from the 100, and I think I saw on Facebook, he had like 117,000.
117 for the parking
It was-
lot, and then there's
It was
over
like
100.
93,000 of that 117,000 was that one parking lot area. The rest of it, I looked at your numbers, and I appreciate you doing those numbers, because we, of course, don't have those numbers. So I appreciate you posting them.
I'd be glad to share you the entire stack.
But it come out to less than $4,000 a year the county has spent on actual maintenance at the facility itself. Now, what the fair provides for the county is one, we are on constant standby for emergency management if they need the property. If we have a rental, say someone rents the building for this coming weekend, and a hurricane decides to come through, and they need the building, we cancel that rental. So we're out that money, and the county gets to use the property. So it's not an exact money amount. We're on constant standby for y'all to use the property. The parking lot itself, we allow for the, and this goes back again.
It's another MOU in 2019 where Public Works can use it as a training type thing. too.
Well, and the county has always used it for training their buses. That's the school district, I know, but also for the county Public Works to train their big rig drivers enough. They use it as a training parking lot.
I have
We've
no
never had a
problem with
problem
that
with
MOU whatsoever.
But using the parking lot for the extension office, that goes back again before I was born in the 70s. That's where they park at. We say nothing. The 4-H, we have given them or let them use a piece of our property for their greenhouse, for a lot of their outdoor activities. We let them use the fairgrounds itself for their rifle club, all their other little clubs they do. So it's a
I just
partnership.
think after 23,
Yeah.
after 23 years, wouldn't you want it spelled out so the
Oh, no,
transparency is there?
I don't disagree with you to spell it out. What I'm saying is we still want to keep the partnership. As long as the county's
I do
amenable to
too.
it,
I
we
just
want
want
to
it
keep
spelled out,
partnership.
that's all.
So that's what I just wanted to come up here and just say. I know there wasn't a motion on it, so I didn't get talked in, but thank y'all for considering us. I hope y'all do think about it for the next 2-3 weeks before we have the next meeting. And we do look forward to working with y'all if we can in the future.
Thanks
Thank
for
y'all.
coming, Tom.
And thank y'all for everything you do.
Thank you, sir.
All right, anyone left? Seeing none? Ms. Harris, you didn't want to, you forfeit your time? Everybody take, Madam Clerk, make sure you put that in the record that she forfeited her time.
Motion.
Well, as long as you're not making threats on someone, you won't be kicked out, which is a misdemeanor.
Motion to adjourn.
So we have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Anderson. Without objection, show that done.